I watched this video a little bit ago, and it was about racism, whatever. And I'm thinking back, because growing up, I personally felt like I had never really experienced racism. Because I hear about all these stories about people experiencing everything. And up until maybe like a year ago, I did not really process that I had been discriminated my entire life. Up until recently. Like, as a kid, you don't really understand that. You can't really fully grasp that and how much it's kind of affected me. Because I remember when I was, for instance, when I was in 7th grade, I think, my assistant principal always made her business to racially profile me, and I didn't realize it was racially profiling until I became an adult. Because one instance, I ended up getting suspended for fighting because what had happened was I have mental health issues. Everyone knows that I have an IEP. I've had an IEP since 6th grade. I even have a 504. But my assistant principal decided the 504 no longer mattered, didn't exist, and I was just making it up for attention. My mental health issues, I was just making them up for attention. They didn't actually exist. I'm just being dramatic. And I was having a really bad day. I was getting bullied. And there was me, clearly not white. I was wearing a little cat-eared headband because I'm a fucking kid. Like, I'm expressing myself. Let me be. I wasn't hurting anyone. I was doing my work, minding my business, keeping to myself. I feel like there's a girl sitting next to me who was a lighter complexion than me. I wouldn't say that she was like fully Caucasian, but she was white enough, but she was light enough to pass for Caucasian. Okay? She was mixed, but she had a very pale complexion, basically. She was wearing a wolf tail, right? I was wearing a cat-eared headband. They came over to me, pulled me outside of the class, and told me that I had to take it off. And when I asked why, she got really nasty with me. Really nasty with me, to the point where I started to have a panic attack, and I just walked away. I just stormed off, because part of my 504 was I was allowed to call home to calm myself down. So I walked off, went to one of the phones in the hallway to call home. And she snatched the phone out of my hand and said, no. She's like, you're gonna do what I say. And I'm like, it's part of my 504 that I am allowed to call home. Because I knew this. I was in 7th grade. And she's like, no. And then she has my counselor come out, also white, tries to pry me off of the phone, and I snap. I snap at that point, because at this point there's like 3 different grown-ass adults trying to rip this phone out of my hand, calling me all sorts of horrible names, all because of a cat-eared headband. And they tried to use the excuse of, well, there might be kids that are afraid or allergic to cats. It is a fake cosplay headband. Any kid that would be afraid of a cat-eared headband, I think, has bigger issues. It is a fucking... If you have a problem, why aren't you talking to the girl that's wearing a fucking wolf tail? There might be someone afraid of wolves! And at the time, I was kind of in this state of, like, fight or flight, and I never really thought much of this afterwards, right? I was in 7th grade, whatever. And I don't remember much of what happened after that, because I blacked out. I just blacked out. All I remember is bits and pieces of what, like, my mom and people were telling me, because I ended up getting suspended for 5 days, is that I lashed out and just attacked them. At least that's what they told my mom, is that they were talking to me all calmly, and I just lashed out and attacked them. Which I know isn't true, because I remember all the things that they said to me. I'm not going to say it here, but I do remember the things that they were saying to me, the things that... Funny enough, she did not work there the next year, but that was my last year there anyways. And I told her mom, no, that's not what happened. But And when she would ask me, did you attack them? I'm like, I don't remember. I remember, like, bits and pieces, like a broken fragment. You know, if you get, like, really drunk and, like, you've, like, bits and pieces of your memory there. It's, like, that's kind of how it is. It's, like, fragmented memory. I do remember pushing one of them, but that's all. I remember, like, pushing one and trying to escape, but I don't remember the actual, like, events that took place. Like, I don't remember. I have no detailed recollection at all. And it was just, like, over a cat, you're dead, man. No. I could have just taken it off, right? But the reason I didn't was because, one, I was a fucking kid. And two, because when she asked me to take it off, she did not, like, politely ask me to take it off. And part of my AP was when things are asked of me, you have to do them in like a very certain way, otherwise it could trigger my fight or flight response, like yelling or really, like, harsh talking. I have really bad complex PTSD, so, like, you could not talk to me loud or it would trigger my flight or flight, and I would just react. At that point, there would be no talking. I would solely react based off of what my perceived threat. When you talk to me loud, you are now a threat. You are no longer a friend or anything. You are just a threat. So I was trying to escape. It's not even like I was trying to hurt them. I was just trying to escape, trying to protect myself. It was more of like protecting myself. I was reacting. And I guess I broke one of their necklace, and that's why I got suspended for vandalism. Whatever. That's not the only instance, too. Another instance, I was upset, so I was on the phone with my mom talking, and then the school officer, I wasn't even talking that loud, by the way. I was just asking my mom, can you, like, come pick me up? I'm having a really bad day. And I can't do it anymore. Like, my mental health is just not there, right? I just can't. And the school officer comes out screaming at me, telling me to shut the fuck up. And I'm 14 at this point, because this is 8th grade, I think. I'm like 14, 15. And I tell him no. I said, no, I'm allowed to talk on the fucking phone. I didn't say fucking because I didn't swear then. But I was like, no, I'm allowed to talk on the phone. And I don't remember what he said, but he said something and then went back in his office and slammed his door. Because the phone was like right next to it. It was like maybe like 5 to 10-ish feet away from his door. Right? So I finished talking to my mom. I'm still on the phone with my mom, and he comes back up. And he comes back up and threatens to arrest me because I'm still talking. I'm not talking that loud. This is as loud as I'm talking on the phone. This tone right here. And he didn't like that I wasn't listening. So then he comes out and tries to arrest me. I don't go quietly. I don't let him, because he just snatches the phone from me and starts screaming at me to put my hands behind my back. And I'm like, no, I didn't do anything. I'm on the phone with my fucking mom. I'm a minor. You can't do shit because I didn't break any fucking law. Last I checked, talking on the phone, when it's a part of my, mental health plan, legally, I did nothing fucking wrong. And he proceeds to detain me. He tries to convince it took 3 grown men to detain a small 14-year-old child. 3 grown men. For something I didn't do. He was just mad that I was on the phone, and he didn't like that. I have much more stories about this, but anyways, I don't go quietly. I don't go quietly. The entire time I'm in the back of the cop car, I'm just screaming, absolute screaming. Then my grandmother comes to the police station, picks me up, and everything's like, oh, I'm not gonna press charges for nicotine, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you couldn't, even if you wanted to, because again, I did nothing wrong. This would go to a jury. They would look at you, be like, she's 14, she was on the phone. What was the probable cause? It's fucking exactly, bitch. I'm a lot more headstrong than I was back then. I was so quiet and meek, but yeah.